Okay, so good afternoon. I'm not sure now is the best time to do it, but I'm going to. So I have my extractor, and I only picked out 5 frames because oh, poor little guy. The other frames that I had brood in them, so they were eating some of the honey to lay eggs. So I'm not touching them, but these 5 had nothing but capped honey. So I'm gonna put the phone down as best I can. I'll try to do it as much as I can on camera for you guys. Also, I gotta try to be a little bit quick about it because I have one little bee who's just loving to buzz me right now. Probably because they're so upset. But so we're gonna try to do this as best I can. Without making much of a mess. I need another brood box is what I've discovered. So I'm going to do my best to cut this open for you guys so you can see and watch how I go through the process of decapping the honey and putting it in the extractor. So we're going to do 1 frame at a time. I'm going to have to put my phone down. I don't know how much you guys can see. I really need to get something to, I guess, hold my things, but this is my newest toy. It is a heated, I just got it from Amazon, so we'll see if it works. It should. I'll know in a second if it's working. This is to help me uncap the honey a little bit easier and faster. So there's no on or off switch, it's just plug in. So it should heat up very shortly. While I'm waiting for that, I've got my smoker. I'm going to smoke the last few bees who are buzzing me, because I've already got stung once this week. It was not the best experience, but it comes with the territory. Alright, that's heating up nicely. So what I'm going to do, like I said, I honestly can't tell what you guys can and can't see. But like I said, we're going to do our best. So this little handy dandy thing, I'll see if I can demonstrate it. Like I said, it's like, see how easy that came off? And if I wasn't doing it, but it kind of just melts. That's the idea of that. So be patient. I will try to put this where you guys can see it. I need a holder. You would think these things came with a holder, but they don't. So we're just going to put it there. I have to balance you guys on my porch, so not sure exactly what you can and can't see. I think I'm kind of lined up with the camera, so we'll just have a go at it. So the idea of this what I'm putting it into is to catch, it's got little holes in it to help me catch whatever honey comes off through this. I am not getting much, and I don't think we're going to be eating any of this, although this actually looks nice and golden, so maybe it is good for us. But I think because my hives are so new, I'm going to use this as feed for the winter. This thing is so much nicer than having to individually cut. Now, it's not coming off as clean as it should because this hive was not spaced for honey. I was not intending for them to do this, but they did it anyway. The idea of this heated knife is to make it a little bit easier for the bees to clean up, essentially. But it should come off a lot easier, but because it was spaced for brood and not honey extraction, it's not coming off as clean as it should, because they didn't build it out as far. So now, mind you, these things are quite heavy. They're about 10 to 15 pounds each. That's how it's supposed to happen. I don't know if you guys can see that, but how it's coming off so nice. I have a couple very concerned bees. So I learned about this heated knife from the bee club. I actually got to practice last week. There we go. They said it's kind of like sawing your turkey. I said, no, it's not. But yeah, so it comes off nice and clean like that. Whoops. And then into my extractor. One frame down, 4 to go. Luckily, dropping it just a little bit doesn't make much of it come out. You need a lot of force behind it. So, the theory behind doing this is I'm just melting the caps. I had a good groove going on the last one, and here I go blowing it. This makes it kind of almost like a, not completely clean, but clean enough cut that when your bees come back to it, because I'm actually going to put 2 or 3 of these frames back into my hive tonight, this will actually be ready for the queen to go right into and start laying, because they'll clean all this up tonight, tomorrow. Not sure if I do better going up or down, to be honest. Quite a sticky situation. Being part of the Jacksonville Beekeeper Association, starting to prefer some things. Like I said, this knife they showed me last Saturday at the apiary. I liked it a lot, so I went and bought my own. They also have something else cool. They have a little stick that you balance on this thing, so you're not balancing on the side of your container. That's very helpful. so it doesn't do that. And I'm okay with these bees being round, so long as they don't go near my face. Your face is never good when it gets stung. It poofs up. It's never fun for anybody. A bee loses its life. You have a funny looking face. It really helps when the bees actually build your comb out. Because then it's so much easier to cut. And you don't go so far into your comb. I'm gonna have to switch a corner because that one's so sticky now it's not even funny. I mean, I guess it is funny. I guess I'm in a sticky situation, huh? But this is honey extraction for you. Very sticky, gooey process. There's two. Next frame. This seems to be working kind of cool. Something else I forgot today. A bucket of water. Just because I kind of want to clean my hands. Because like I don't want to touch. I'm lucky because I have a automatic extractor in the sense that I just push a button and it spins. I don't have to do it by hand. But because mine's mechanical, I'd rather not get it all stuck with honey. So I'll have to get my doorbell or my my door open. I'll have to deal with that stickiness later because I'm not going to touch my extractor with sticky fingers. It's much nicer when you have two people, honestly. But most people I knew today were busy. So not a big deal. It's all learning, and besides, if you help me, I'd like to give you some, but like I said, I don't think this is edible honey. I mean, it is, but it's not, because I think a lot of this is just the sugar water that I had, and they just turned it into storage. So I'm pretty sure if I jarred this, it would ferment, and I don't want that. So that thunder, I would really, really appreciate, would hold off a little bit more so I can at least get this spun out. Alright, we're going to undo that so it doesn't burn my bucket. Give me just a minute. Okay. Not sure who's still here with me, but hello. So, it's not the best setup because, like I said, I literally just grabbed all of this stuff from my parents' house, which was nice and laid out in the garage, so it made it a lot easier. But anyway, so I just turned this. I have my little speed dial, so it's going to be on low. Oh, that would have been not great. So this is called your honey gate. It was halfway open. Imagine how mad you'd get. Alright, so it's doing its thing. I have to turn it up to make it actually do something, so you can kind of see it on the sides there being thrown out. So you just do that. Sorry for any of you who might be dizzy. So I won't hold it down there much. But yeah, so I've got two more. That one's not completely covered, so like I said, I'm not expecting to eat any of this honey. I am just expecting to get some of it. So now I wait, do it for a couple minutes or a couple seconds more. And I don't know if you can tell down there. I don't know if I can make that lighter. But it's not even up to the door yet. But now what we get to do is it's out of side one. Now we have to turn it to do side two. Yep, that looks pretty good. I took off way more wax than I wanted to. Oh, that one actually worked. Not going to be too much of a pain for them to fix. Oh my god. So that's back in there. Put the lid back on. Use my other hand. So, this weekend at the Club Apiary, we extracted approximately 260 pounds of honey. And the extractor that I was helping with was a hand crank. God, I was so happy when I realized I appreciate mechanical things. Because that just made that so much better. But we'll do that for a couple times, and then I got my bees down there enjoying that. It's kind of a tedious process, but not too bad. It's nicer when you actually have like a little honey house, essentially, because then you don't have all these little guys buzzing you saying, "What are you doing? You're stealing." Which, yeah, I am stealing, but I left some. I wasn't too greedy. So now I can't touch that again because that's going to be so sticky. And then that will come over here. They will fix this. I'm actually going to put this one over here and put this one over here. So then I can put this over here. Just seems like I've got more bees than I really want around me. And then now I'm going to go back to doing that. That'll take me a few minutes. So again, sorry for the long process. My phone is getting a little warm, so we will see how long it lasts. Thank God the sun's not out. Now I just have to wait for that thing to heat up again. I can't remember how many frames I gotta put back. But give me a second, I got an idea. So this bucket is what I'm going to actually be putting the honey in, and I got gloves. Hallelujah. No more sticky, and if I do, I can just take them off. But yeah, no. The downside to not having an actual honey house, or actually doing it so close to your hive, is you got these little stragglers. Stragglers? Yeah, that word. Got these stowaways. How about that? And they seriously are like, hey, you're stealing. Yeah, I am. So they're probably more apt to be mad. But hopefully they won't be too mad. That's hot, so it should work. There. Slow and steady wins the race. Now, if it was on when it was honey season, and I was actually in this to collect the honey for this go around, I would put a frame separator on it, which would make my 10 frame go down to a 9 frame. And what that would essentially do is space out my honey, or space out my frames to where they will build outside the thickness of your frame. So really you would just have to run it along the edge like this, and it would just cut off nice and cleanly. Whereas I'm being really sloppy with it, one, because I'm not that experienced with it. It's only my second time with this awesome gadget. And you just have to learn your method. As our little instructor said on Saturday, you'll get the hang of it. I still feel too sloppy at it. It's gonna be great. It's raining. It's not what I wanted. Like, this one's not even built out enough that it's gonna make it any easier for me. Anyone want to sing Rain, Rain, Go Away? Because wetness around your hive isn't what you want either. But we're going to give it a try. All we can do is try. So I'm really excited to be able to bring a frame of bees to Mandarin coming up. Is Mandarin? I think it's Mandarin. Pretty sure it's Mandarin. And I'm pretty sure I'm going to be prepared for the question of where's the worst place to get stung. So I have learned I have a mild reaction to bee stings. I poof a little bit, not too bad, not as worse as some, but I can officially answer the worst place that I've ever gotten stung would be the inside of my nose. Fun fact yesterday, I had to, before I went to work, had to stop at CareSpot because I opened my hive. My roommate said something and I thought she was talking to me, so I turned my head. And this is on my big hive. And without thinking where my hair was, it turned out it smacked my hive, which people with lots like long-haired people problems, you smack things with your hair, you don't even realize you're smacking. So I had no idea. I just basically fanned God knows how many bees, and one said, "I am not at all happy with you," and got in my face. So I held still, and just as luck, just my luck would have it, I had to sneeze. I sucked in air. Bee went up nose. Bee decided to go, "I'm dying anyway," and stung me. It did not feel good at all. That was probably the most painful spot to ever get stung. I had to, I don't like die. My throat doesn't close up if I get stung, but I'd never been stung on my face. My nose was very red and very poofy. And before I went to work and sat in front of the desk and scared many kids at work, I decided to say, oh no, and I found the best CareSpot ever. They had no line. They saw me right away. They gave me my shot, not an epi shot, some anti-inflammatory shot, and it was like the best thing ever. I like immediately went from being, that's what happens when you turn your extractor on too fast. And that's also what happens when you have an out of balance extractor. With only 2 frames full of honey, the other one, it's off balanced essentially, so it's going to bounce around if I'm not careful. Turn all of these. Sorry, because of the rain, I'm just trying to get this done. So I'm not going to pick up the camera probably again. All right. So, not sure. Can I turn on? I don't think I can. Maybe I can. Nope, I can't turn on my camera. Well, it's got a little bit of honey in it, so I guess I have a leak too. So we'll do that. This is going to be quite interesting because my plan, because again, I'm not at my parents', was to set it there and balance my bucket on the second step, but that's not going to happen. So give me a second while I get plan B ready, and I'll come back in a few minutes. See you guys shortly.